Okay, I believe we're ready to start. Half day. Good morning, everyone. The time is 10:41, and welcome to the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission meeting. Today is April 5th, 2024. We are also being televised live stream in accordance to open government laws, so that everybody who is not available to attend can participate. First off on the agenda, I'm calling this meeting to order, and I will do a roll call by agency. If you're here, acknowledge by saying here, aye, or present. Guam Police Department. Guam Airport Police.
Present.
Guam Port Police.
Present.
Guam Attorney General.
Present.
Guam Customs and Quarantine. Present. Guam Department of Corrections.
Present.
Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources, Department of Agriculture.
Present.
University of Guam. Guam Community College. Unified Courts of Guam, Marshall.
Present.
Guam Fire Department.
Present.
Unified Courts of Guam Probation.
Present.
Guam Department of Administration Personnel Services Division. Department of Youth Affairs. Guam International Airport Authority Aircraft Rescue Firefighting.
Present.
Department of Parks and Recreation.
Present.
We have a quorum. Next up on the agenda is the review and approval of the minutes. So everybody, if you haven't done so already, please take a minute or two to take a look at the minutes. And if there are any changes or additions, revisions, we'll go over that. Okay, if everyone has been done conducting a review of the minutes, can I get a motion or to either adopt or make revisions as necessary?
Motion to adopt the minutes.
Motion from BOC,
Second the motion too.
second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries and the agenda is adopted. The meetings are adopted. Next one is the remarks. I'm gonna live with my remarks. I just wanted to welcome everybody back again. And just to reiterate, thanks to John Mazama, he's been very proactive and very aggressive in trying to close the gaps facing the post commission. And I believe he's one of those individuals that will take us to the next level. And I understand that even as the executive director, he has his own challenges. But he is the glue in addition to the support staff, which has been graciously offered by the Guam Community College to be able to get us these meeting venues and also other items that we need in moving forward. We're moving towards getting office space, establishing a firm grasp on our budgetary needs and budgetary requirements, and that in and by itself is a lengthy process, but thanks to Mr. Lozama's leadership, he's been able to bring us to the next level. The only thing that I really wanted to put out there is the police one. There was a letter that came out within the past week, pretty much asking everybody to ensure that your law enforcement members have enrolled. And the reason for that is so that we can get a good number identified. And then the other thing is just to make sure that we cross-check it with all those officers who have either retired or resigned from your agency. And so the executive director will need all that information to be able to appropriately identify the true number of what we need. I know that like other entities, like Customs, we're hiring another cycle of between 10 to 20 in the upcoming months, and the police department's doing it, the DOC is gonna be doing it, the fire department. So what we're gonna end up seeing is that we're gonna be seeing more and more people coming into the system, so we want to make sure that we account appropriately. And pretty much that is it. Once again, welcome. Appreciate everybody's time and attendance. I will now turn it over to Ray. So, you have any remarks?
No, just the consistency, ladies and gentlemen. The consistency of showing up to the meeting is very important. So each department here has a voice. And so what's holding up setbacks are if you're absent in their department rep, it makes it harder for the commission to make a vote. And we don't want anyone to be left out. We want to hear your voice, your concerns, and your opinions. How we can better the post commission. How can we move forward with everything? So please, I urge that each and every one make this meeting just to make sure that everybody's on the right page and no misinformations are being driven out. That's it.
Oh, and I just wanted to put out there that I was just reminded that the two positions, the chair and the vice chair, I think our term is up in July.
Yes.
So really consider taking over the realm. Some of us might be retiring, right? And so the other thing that we have to consider is like mentorship, and we're having other people come in. I tell you, it's a good experience. It's good to network with everybody. And the other thing is like you actually have a clearer say in how things are operating. And if anything, it's taught me, you gotta be patient, you gotta try and be resilient. And I understand we all have challenges. And I'm going back to the position of the executive director. Ever since John came in, he's been pushing. And right now, I think it was in the last meeting, we were talking about addressing some of the old issues that were presented and then actually solidifying the protocols within the commission itself. So with that being said, there's going to be a lot of work, but I believe that the executive director is the right person for the job. And I believe we also need like 2 or 3 other positions in that organization that need to be picked up in order to help. So just keep that in mind. Thank you. I'm going to now defer to Mr. Lozama, and as we go into agenda item number 4.
So under old business, before I start on item 1, items 3, 4, and 5, there's still some work that needs to be done, Mr. Chair. Need to request that that be tabled or waived, and if somebody's willing to make a motion and proceed with tabling items 3, 4, and 5 for now.
Do I hear a motion to table agenda items number 3, 4, and 5?
Motion to table 3, 4, and 5.
A motion. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion carries. So the agenda items are tabled till future date.
So under old business, under the general force leadership structure, I am currently working with the Department of Administration's Human Resource section, division. I've actually received all the entry-level position descriptions as well as the requirements for those positions. Within the general structure tier, the best way to do it is a bottom-up approach. We start at the entry-level positions, we work our way up. Because as you look at the law enforcement structure and as you look at all the different levels, we need to start with the basics. And the basics is already at our entry level. I've already received from DOA all those within the executive branch. What I'm requesting for members of the judiciary, the port is if you can speak with your HR, your AOC, whether or not I can start receiving that, so we can establish that baseline for everybody. What I am seeing is for all of our recruits, our trainees, our entry-level positions, it's all different. Some people come in on this level, some people come in on another level. So with that said, one of the items that we're going to be looking at and voting on in June, it'll be an item agenda, is a curriculum, the entry-level curriculum for all of our category 1s and 2s. That establishes the baseline for everybody, and when you look at it, it's actually easier for us to look at the force structure tier and say, okay, we're all here, then the next level is this. And so that's what I'm working on. So item number 2 actually leads in, item number 1 actually leads into item number 2, which is the certification process. I'm still certifying based on the current guidance of 17 GCA and the 27 GAR, the requirements for post-certification. What I have found is that within the statute itself, there are 3 courses that are not listed as mandatory. The fortunate thing is the commission, all the agencies, you actually instructed. So you actually are requiring EVOC, which is one of the items that's not in 27 or 17 GCA. You also instruct, part of your curriculum is criminal investigations. Fire does fire investigations, for the law enforcement is criminal investigations. That's a requirement, previous requirement. It may have been omitted in 17 and 27 GAR, so it's just a matter, and administratively, the commission has said, yes, you have to take that class. Agencies, you're doing it, but it's not in 27 or 17. So we're just trying to make sure that we standardize that. So it's EVOC, criminal investigation, and then the last one is traffic law enforcement. You teach it, it's part of your curriculum, but it's not part of 17 or 27. So that'll be the standard. So if you look at the post application, there's 14 requirements that you have to take. One of which is first aid. But if you go through first responder, you're already first aid certified. So basically, I'm removing, one of my recommendations, and I'm gonna put it out at our next meeting, is we remove first aid, we add EVOC, criminal investigations, and traffic law enforcement. Your academies already do it. I just did a spot check on the Guam Police Department Police Officer Training Cycle. It's in their curriculum, and it's in all the other curriculums. It's just not documented somewhere. So those are the things I'm looking at. Again, on number 2, the certification, looking at everybody's certification. We need to make sure that everybody's certified. That's the law. That's what the commission was established for, to ensure that everybody is certified. So I will, from that, since we're tabling 3, 4, and 5, I'd like to move to new business. So I finally, the post commission actually has an office now. So I'm located in room 104 at the forensic building that's on the west side. You come in from Sesame Street, you pass the crime lab, it's the next building over on your right. I'm in room 104. Best, because I'm really by myself, is to email me and then we can make an appointment. Again, I'm making it easier for the members. I will come to your agency. You do not have to come to my office. I've done that with almost every agency so far. So I am willing to do that because for me, your time is critical. If it takes you 30 minutes to get to my office and 30 minutes to get you back and we have an hour meeting, you're gone for 2 hours. I'll cut that time in half. Let me come to you. I don't have a problem driving to yours. And I think everybody that I've come to, there's an appreciation that I'm coming to you. So let's, that's my office. Telephone number is 671-735-5550, extension 5610. But again, it's best to email me because I do have a requirement to spot check, to verify all the training that's going on. So I do the police cycle. They had the range this week. I was up at the range 4 times. We have the Park Patrol Reserve Program. I was down at Park Patrol twice this week. So I need to make sure that when you do training, it's a requirement. I have to come and observe, make sure you're following the training standards. So just let me know, I'll come over. Again, I'm awaiting additional staff, but more importantly, I had a meeting with Senator Barnett, our chairperson. He actually wants a post update. And one of the things that I was mentioning to the chair is I want to be able to present something to him that's tangible. So what I'm looking at is using Police One to get the information, the data for the presentation. I am hopeful that none of the members will have to be there. He's just going to call from like maybe myself, the chair, and the vice chair to be present. But be prepared if we do get notice of a hearing for an update on the post commission, you will be notified as well. Okay, so that's everything under administration, under new business. The next one is Police One update. Like the chairman said, we need to make sure everybody's on Police One. The post commission paid for the subscription. February, our subscription is all good until next year. So there's no need to worry about it. You don't have to worry about paying for it. We paid for it. In fact, I've already submitted the budget for FY25, which includes the subscription for Police One. You don't have to worry about that budgetary item. One of the things after talking to the chair and the vice chair is to include within our subscription Fire Rescue One. Fire Rescue One for Guam Fire Department, ARF, and Forestry. If you look at Police One, you have all the law enforcement training that's available online. It also includes the Corrections Academy that's online. But since we're a commission, we need to make sure that we have everybody covered. So I've looked into that subscription to include Fire Rescue One as part of our subscription for the Guam Post Commission. I'm trying to make sure that every position, doesn't matter what it is, if there's a learning management system that will benefit your officers, your agency, I'm looking into that. And if you know of any, then just let me know. I will look into that as well. Okay? Police One is very important because our subscription is only 1,400 members. As of today, I have 1,256. But we have a police officer training cycle going on. All the CVPRs, the CCROs, all your Park Patrol reservists, all those people have to be included in Police One for the commission to manage and maintain. So that's why it's critical that you have your folks accept the invitation. If there's any issues with the invitation, let me know. I need to make sure that everybody is post-certified. How am I doing that? They accept the invite, they're active members, I will upload their post-approved applications. Okay? We have probably about 30% of our members overall just need to accept the invitation, which is really good. We're at 70% right now, and we just need to be at 100. The reason being is I've already started to upload. I did it with the Attorney General's office. I did it with Park Patrol, Probation, Marshals, Airport, GPD, DOC. I'm already uploading your post-approved applications. I do not want to upload an application to an individual who's no longer in your agency. If they're transferred, let me know and I'll transfer them to the other agency. You need to be able to do it because my intent is for the post members, all the chiefs, all the directors, administrators, you're going to have access to it, not only your training and staff folks or who you designate, but yourself so you can see as an administrator what's happening in Police One. I think it's critical that we do that. So if your agency doesn't have an administrator, let me know. Okay? Again, I would need the name, the official email address, the official title, date of birth, batch number, because when I create the name record, it'll be easier for us to upload based on that. If you have retired or separated members, members that have transferred, according to 27 GAR, Chapter 3, 3109, if they've left your department or they no longer are employed, the Post Commission needs to know that, because that's part of having to maintain their certification for up to 3 years. Because after 3 years, I'll decertify them. But if they've left your department and they come back to you or another agency, I can still use that certification, because your certification doesn't expire until after 3 years. So that's why it's critical that you let me know, because if I can pull all those people off and you have all these cycles coming in, I can make sure they have a slot. Yes, Chief?
Director, I stand corrected if possible, but if I can recall, I think we had a vote, not 3 years, but we did have a vote, 10 years for decertification.
I can look into that, sir.
I stand corrected if
Yeah.
that wasn't the case.
I will look through it.
I just don't want to cloud what's going on with the 3 years you
Yeah.
commence, and then we had already a vote of 10 years for you to desert.
And with that said, members, I will go back and check our notes, check all the minutes, verify, and I will update everybody at our next meeting, the actual decertification timeframe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can take care of that, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, I'm uploading all the post-approved applications. Out of the 1,200, I've already uploaded 586.
That's a lot.
Okay, this is why when I'm working with agencies, the first one, of course, was Airport with Lieutenant Ray, Chaco, and everybody. It was easy because they had already been using Police One, and they had all their folks in, and it was just a matter of, okay, I'm gonna start uploading all your certificates. And then I went back to them on an email and said, hey, I just need a couple of these, and they were responsive. So that's what I want to do with everybody. I think I did it with most of the agencies. There's still a lot of us, so I have to work that out. But I'm still working on that, so just let me know. Again, if I get a list of all the active employees, I will go into Police One, remove everybody that's no longer in your agency, and that way when I start loading the post-approved applications, your percentage is actually going to be higher than what it is now. I think we're really good. Some agencies are almost 95%. Okay, so let's get that done. The update so I can upload the thing. The next requirement is the PFQT. By statute, the Post Commission is supposed to get a copy of your PFQT results. We're supposed to track it. If you can send it to me, I will start tracking it. Again, I'm doing membership. I have to do the credentials. Then I'm tracking everything, but we'll make the time to upload everything. So if you've already sent it to Bertha Guerrero, you don't need to send it to me. I will work with Bertha on making sure that I have all the information and we start uploading the PFQT results. Okay? The next one, after on the Police One update is training, okay? Just know that, oh, I missed some, I'm sorry, I missed something. Proposed legislation. So I already sent it out to all the members, Bill 250-37 and Bill 251-37, which is the multi-agency law enforcement group, the MALIC legislation. If you haven't received it, let me know, I can forward it to you. And so that's something that's being introduced and considered by Senator Chris Dueñas to reestablish the MALIC task force. You need to look at the legislation because if it affects your agency, then you need to make sure that you're aware of what it is. Because what this bill also includes is establishment of a system where people can go and look at all the warrants on Guam, you know, and so that's where I believe everybody needs to look at that legislation, and you have to figure out how this affects your agency, okay? Again, if you haven't received it, send me an email and I will forward it to you, okay? We want to make sure of that. Now, let's go into training. I've been sending out the training for disability sensitivity awareness training. If you have individuals, members that need to take that, I'll continue to send it out. Register with the Guam Developmental Disabilities Council, or you can check with DISIT, and they will give you the class dates. If you have folks that haven't, just have them take it. It's for our block of instruction. There's also the culturally and linguistically appropriate services, the class offered by Alex Silverio. If you have folks that maybe didn't take the cultural sensitivity and awareness portion of the post requirement, send them to that class. I will continue to send that out to everybody for those that need. The other big thing is mental health first aid. So I did receive an email from Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, Ms. Jamie Pangilinan, that mental health first aid is going to be offered. My understanding from the director of Guam Behavioral Health is this is now mandatory for everybody, for all law enforcement, for all 1,200 of us, or you. So that's going to be a big thing that everybody has to complete. It's a 7.5-hour course. So it's really a day for everybody. So I will get more information as to when it's being offered, and then you can look at coordinating with them directly. One of the things I am trying to do, and I've already talked to the GCC president, is to use one of the classrooms in the area that I'm renting for that training as well. So we can make it available in all your training centers or your training rooms, your conference rooms. And then I'm hoping to also have it available in the post-training room or the post-classroom. So just be aware that that's gonna be a requirement for everybody to take. The Juvenile Justice Reform Act, formerly OJJDP, there's some folks that may need it. I've already received the curriculum from Director Brendan from DYA. I'm currently reviewing it, and we'll make that available to all the members that need to take OJJDP, the Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention Act. So once I get that, I will email it out to all members for those that need to take it. If you have non-LE folks that are interested in becoming posts within your agencies, you know, these classes like the cultural and linguistically appropriate service class, the disability sensitivity awareness training class, the mental health first aid class, the Juvenile Justice Reform Act. If they're non-law enforcement and maybe they're talking to you as the chief or the director saying, hey, I'm interested, well, make this class available for them. That's 4 classes less than they have to take. I have to go to GCC or somewhere else. So, you know, you can, priority would be all of our first responders, but you can also refer others. So just, because I know when I was a chief, I would get people from courts and ministerial, they're like, hey, I want to be a probation officer. You know, what do I need to do? And I say, go to GCC. Now you can say, well, these are all the requirements. You can take some of them now on your own, and then you don't have to pay however it costs to go to GCC for the supplementals or for a full cycle. So just get the word out to them. It's available. So we have all the training out there for everybody. If you have any questions, just email me. I think the last thing I have, Mr. Chair, is post-curriculum. So as I mentioned, I'm looking at category 1, and I'm seeing that your apprenticeship programs already have criminal investigations, EVOP, traffic law enforcement, right? So let's solidify that, let's make that part of the statute. And I'm gonna look through the records, Mr. Chair, to make sure that it wasn't already adopted. Because if it was adopted, then we're good.
Okay, so my only question would be is, because I know that in previous meetings, however we voted on certain agenda items, I believe it has to be incorporated into the GAR,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if we've actually gotten to that point where everything that we voted on has actually been adopted into the GAR. So you might have some research ahead of you.
I've already done that.
Okay.
So what I've done is the last 12 meetings that you've had, which is basically the last 14 months prior to me, or I've already gone through that, and anything that was voted on, I'm putting that, I'm setting a note on the side, and that's something that I would need to speak with the compiler of law to find out how do we make the amendments to 27 GAR, because that's authorized within the Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations. The commission has the authority to change that. But if it changes anything in 17 GCA, then we would have to go to our chairperson and our co-chair at the legislature. So, but anything within 27 GAR, I'm already taking a look at it, and I will speak with the compiler of law to make sure that everything is done right. Okay?
Very good.
So that is what I was looking at for category 1. I will put this out to the agencies. I've already started to develop specific curriculum for that I personally feel, this is just me, John Lizama saying, I personally feel we need to make sure that this is part of your curriculum. My next thing is to call for a training subcommittee meeting and have the training subcommittee meeting that's appointed, that's by statute has to review it. Prior to that, I would like to meet with the agencies, your specific training and staff folks, to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. you need for customs and quarantine. This is what I'm thinking you need for, Guam Fire. How are you guys doing it? Because I'm also talking to the Guam Community College, the Criminal Justice Academy, the department to say, okay, when you teach a fire apprentice program, what is that about? When you offer the corrections program, what is it about? And I'm making sure that matches up with 17 GCA. The statute that says you have to take these classes. So that's what I'm working with Mr. Munoz, as far as, okay, can I see the curriculum for that, because we can do it. We did have a discussion that if you go to the Criminal Justice Academy, the commission has already decided, yes, you will be post-certified. But there's nothing wrong with us taking a look at the training requirements and seeing if we need to improve on your training requirements. Because we don't want to be stagnant for 10, 15 years and not be able to look at our training requirements and say, wow, we don't take that, or we need to take it.
Especially in this day and age of evolution of duties and responsibilities.
Yes.
That's important to do a review.
So, and part of it is me believing that every 5 years, the training subcommittee should take a look at all the curriculums and say, hey, everything's up to date. Because remember, when they first signed 17 GCA, it said Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention Act. That was actually changed to Juvenile Justice Reform Act. So the nomenclature and all that stuff, that's why it's critical that our training and staff subcommittee, look at all the requirements, sir. So, sorry to take up everybody's time, but that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lozama. We're moving into agenda item 6 for any open discussions or announcements or anything that may be of concern. The floor is open.
I got a chief, sorry.
I just want to announce, Dave Flores is from Homeland Security Intelligence, and he's saying he's going to come up with a training opportunity that he's going to push out for agencies that are interested in having training for intelligence. Intelligence kind of they're assigned to intelligence kind of work. So Dave Flores, Homeland Security. So he personally told me and said that's going to come out, and it's very strategic of what he's going to offer when that comes out. He used to be at the Fusion Center, I believe, when he was with Guam Customs, because not only like at Department of Corrections, we establish a security threat management office that consists of an intel unit in there, so we know what's happening with our inmates. They're so far awarded, everyone's doing a good job. We intercepted a big load, right? Make the news, and every time we intercept that, that's lives that are saved, because it's not gonna be in the hands of the individuals at DOC, that have that addiction problem to the inmates. Another thing is, yesterday, while I was at the Criminal Justice Reform Commission, Attorney Cunliffe had mentioned something about a conflict on the definition of peace officer, right? And he referred to, in that discussion, so I would suggest Executive Director Chariot to, if you can get your hands on that meeting, I think they have it recorded and televised, Judge Kwan has that televised, so it's recorded. I might miss what Attorney Cunliffe said, but he was really pointing out to the Port Authority and the Airport Authority, and it may have to do with limited jurisdiction. And it puzzled me when Attorney Cunliffe was saying that, because I drive past Polaris all the time, and I see the port officers doing a great job, conducting traffic stops, right? And even in the PD area. And I'm assuming it's while they're on their way to, the Agate Boat Basin, or on their way down to Agate Boat Basin, right? And we certainly don't want to, from my perspective, just my personal, I certainly don't want to see anything where anything's being challenged in court because of what Attorney Cunliffe was pointing out, limited jurisdiction, right? And especially with some of these legislation now that are coming out with agency, law enforcement group, I think they may be counting that the Port Authority and airport have more than a limited jurisdiction, especially when they're police officers. So that's what I heard in that discussion, the criminal justice reform in the commission. The second thing the third thing that I just want to point out too, because it's been discussed is, Department of Administration, I don't know what, sometimes they would have a representative that attends, the post-commission meetings, right? And one of the major things, and this is just again my opinion from my observations of seeing, is that a long time ago, I don't know, those of us that have been in government of Guam for a long time and retired, always remember the meeting place at the Department of Administration training room. We would actually meet a government, of Guam agencies, and it'd be like a leadership training or grants or, or some sort of like, training that, didn't have to be law enforcement, but it was training opportunities down at the Department of Administration. And I'm just saying that, I'm just suggesting that if there's an invitation for Department of Administration to have a representative down here, especially from their training branch, maybe we can reach out and say, hey, could you up the tempo, because we may be all public safety and law enforcement here, but Department of Administration may have that reach into individuals who have that expertise that may want to do training down at wherever it's at ITC, if that's where their new training room is at. I'm thinking that can translate to training opportunities for our public safety, homeland security community. And that's all I have for this.
I think that's a very good idea, Chief. What we'll do is we can reach out to Mr. Francis Frisco, who has been typically attending the meetings. But the one thing I know with the Department of Administration, they're like all of us here where we're strapped with resources. And there are times when we try to reach out and get their training calendar, but and it's been maybe at least 6 months since I've been able to look at their training calendar. They were offering no trainings to that date. I'm not sure if it's changed, but I can certainly reach out and hopefully we can extend our capacity by learning more about leadership, for example.
Yeah.
Because I know that everybody else in this room, they have like basic supervision and advanced supervisory courses that really is good for anybody's edification, in the role we're doing. It's not necessarily law enforcement. So I will definitely reach out. Are you ready?
No, can I go back to the criminal justice reform meeting regarding us being impeded from going outside of our respective area? So the reason why it's concerning for me is because our criminal investigation section has been very active relative to school complaints, theft complaints, etc. And a lot of times the people are looking for us outside of our primary area. So it's funny how you brought it up, because it was questioned, like, why are we out there? But as complaints stem from the airport, and we're just doing follow-up wherever it was from our respective areas or related facilities. So that was brought up regarding us going out, but I'll bring it up to the chief and let him know that was discussed in that meeting. So hopefully we're not impeded by performing our duties to help our community members. So I'll bring that up to the chief. Secondly, just to add on to the policeone.com, I know we brought up about cadets, new cadets for each agency. I was called that regarding cadets. So what we do when we have new guys come in, we can do our own login and have them do give them the meat and rice, like the dispatch duties, public relations, customer service, etc., and not on their own login independently, but they can use ours. And then when they do pass it, we give them a certificate that says source reference policeone.com, and we give them that acknowledgement that they passed it as a new hire. Nothing officially for Police One, but at least they have something tangible for their files to show that they went through a certain training of our training and staff while they're on probation on the shift. So after they're done with the shift, like their probationary period, our hopes is to actually give them their own login later on and have them do that independently or assign them the same training. But for now, with the cadets, we're just giving them our login and acknowledging that they passed that and give them something internally that said they did undergo that. So that's an option relative to our cadets that I was giving advice to. But internally, that's what I was letting them know, that's what we're doing internally.
Yeah.
So-
And it actually helps, sorry, Mr. Chair. It actually helps because, again, For the non-LE folks, if they take some of these other classes on their own, it just reduces the total time they'll need to go through all the academic and the practical. If you look at the 14 requirements right now, there are academic requirements, then there's technical requirements like first responder, firearms, EVOC. And then you have the practical requirements, which is the disability classes, your juvenile justice reform, and your cultural sensitivity. If you really look at the 14, there's academic, there's technical, and then there's practical. And they can start taking these practical classes now because they're free. All of those are free. And then they're really only concentrating on the academic portion, which is intro, criminal justice overview, criminal law, criminal procedure, and another course. And then they'll take the technical stuff, which is what I said, EVOC, firearms, first responders. So sometimes explaining it to them that way, they have a better understanding because they're thinking, oh, how am I gonna do this? Well, look at it, there's academic requirements, there's technical requirements, and there are practical requirements. It's probably, I've been explaining that to folks and they're like, okay, Mr. Lozano, now I get it. That does make sense because they're looking at it and they're like, wow, how am I gonna do this? Do I have to, how much is it gonna cost me? And when I get inquiries regarding post-certification, I said, these are practical courses that are required by the Post Commission that you can take on your own as an employee because you're already a government of Guam employee. You should go to disability training. You should go to these other cultural and sensitivity. That should be part of your job. So just take that online, take it with your agency, and you'll be fine. Go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering, so are your cadets what they used to be called airport security guards?
Yes.
So that's just a step to get to airport police officer one.
Not necessarily a step, but they don't have their post certification that doesn't allow them to be a police officer. So a lot of them come in as a security guard, which is an LTA position. However, they help enforce our guard and our airport security program. So we hire them to man these certain posts. So they encounter the public all the time. So the very least we can do for them is internal training regarding dealing with the public. So we use the policeone.com to help them prepare for
That's
that.
actually very good, but so I'm wondering, are they considered category 1, 2, or no category at all? At least not yet.
Or hopefully we can discuss that in length outside of the meeting.
And that's where, when we establish the category ones and we go into the different agencies and we start looking at what are your requirements, then we can look at what category. Interestingly enough, I've been approached by other government of Guam agencies that want to be part of the Post Commission. We're talking 3 or 4 now. And I'm telling them that if you want to be post, these are your 14 classes. That's the requirement. That's by law. You have to take these classes. So, and they're interested. I have 4 government of Guam agencies that are interested. But until they've actually developed their curriculum, until their boards and their administrators say yes, and until they've gone to the legislature and talked to Senator Barnett and Senator Duenas about introducing them as part of the Post Commission, then they're on their own.
Director, I have a question. I know we're talking about having them to enroll in the schools, right? What if they have actually a certified instructor that's deemed that can go to the facility they're at, their department, and conduct the training?
So
Would that be acceptable?
So if you look at the statute and and 27 GAR, it does say that the Post Commission, that the executive director can approve the curriculum, right? As I've said before, and it was mentioned by the chairman several meetings ago, if you're gonna run a cycle outside of the Criminal Justice Academy, GCC, then you need to submit your curriculum to the commission for review and approval. You can run your own cycles. The requirement is all of your instructors have to be post-approved, post-certified. So if you have a firearms instructor who received federal firearms who received it from FLETC as a law enforcement firearms instructor, then I just need that to put that into Police One, that is a post-approved firearms
Recognized.
instructor, recognized instructor. So that, then your agency can do it. So it's not that hard, but it's making sure that the commission, myself, I'll make a motion to the members, or I think I can do it on my own to say, yes, he's the approved instructor. He's post-certified as an instructor. So that's what we need to do. We're trying to get everybody in Police One, but I also need to get all the instructors into Police One. So if you have it, and I've been kind of saying, hey, just send me all your instructors. Give me, not their names, but give me their actual instructor certificate. Because that's the documentation that I use to say, yes, approved. And the commission already approved a form for these instructors to fill out. In fact, it was approved 2 years ago. I can send that form to all the members and say, hey, if you have instructors, I'll push it. You just have them submit this with their instructor certificate. If it's expired, can't help you. But if it's still valid, send it to me. Okay? Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, no worries, actually, yeah, besides, so I think it's good, please, if you can, send out the template that we would need to fill out, and we'll, just update it, because I know that, as we speak, I'm even thinking internally, like with my agency, what I need to do, and sometimes I get lost, so I'm writing myself little notes on a piece of paper, so that when I get back, follow up. So just to reiterate, please double check your officers, just to make sure they've accepted the invitation from Police One. I can tell you that some of the guys who came to me when the email got sent out a while ago was that they thought it was like spam, so they never entertained it. And I said, well, okay, I'll buy that, but just know that it came from this address, right? The executive director had it in the good interest to make sure that put out a letter, and then also attach where that letter came from the Police One, so that the officers and the rank and file understand that it is a validated email invite. So please, the faster we can get it, the faster we can close the gap. I'm just kind of curious to see what we're going to be left with, because if we're running out of slots and we're still recruiting, if we're going to have to like request for additional funding to perhaps extend the number of accesses to Police One.
I've already had a discussion with Lexipol, our point of contact, Mr. Smith, and he's very flexible. I think once we reach, well, maybe let me start by saying this. I've already reached out to DOA, the Department of Administration, to tell me how many vacancies are there out there. Because then I'll take all the vacancies and I will add that to our count to say, okay, this is what we have. I've also talked to Mr. Blaine Smith about the leeway. Are you gonna give me an extra 200 in case we go over? And that's part of our discussion. I believe that once I get the numbers from DOA and we're going to be at anywhere from 85 to 90%, then I have to present back to the commission that we need to increase our subscription. But if we move everybody out that's no longer in your agency, no longer in the commission, then I guarantee you we're gonna free up people.
To add to clearing out for the retirees, isn't there a retirement checklist that each employee must do for every agency to clear out? Maybe we can tack that on so that we're not bombarding any of the HR offices. It's on the outgoing person to clear out with the postal commission.
I will meet with DOA HR and I'll find out if I can be included in that checklist.
Or it could be a simple matter of going through to your training and staff
Yeah.
and just having them go online as the administrator and just say, okay, this guy's retired effective this date.
So if you have an administrator like airport does it, they have administrators, they go in and make sure everybody's there. I can check to see if Bonfire who the administrator is, but Really, all I need is a list of all your
Active and inactive.
active members. A simple list. That's what I did with Port and with the AG's office. Just give me a list. I will move them off your list, and then I will work whatever.
Then the list will change because you'll have the active and retirees, and then you'll have the individuals that are on a extenuating leave status, burning out leave before they retire. So
Wow.
that could be one of the other challenges, that it won't be accurate.
Okay.
No, but, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was brought up already. If they actually are burning leave, they're still active.
Yeah.
But if they're not planning to come
So-
back, that
No,
One of
but
those-
as long as they're still burning leave in the government,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
still in
They're,
active
they're still
status.
active. Just give me.
Yeah.
I'm only concerned with the active.
Yeah,
Just the
Or
active.
resignations.
If you give me all the active, then I know everybody else has either resigned or retired or whatever. We can work on those lists later. The key is to get, let me look at your active, I'll verify, then I'll move all those retirees and those that are separated to make it easier.
Got it.
Cause I actually, within it, I have an inactive, within the post commission, and no member sees this but myself, I've created a web for post commission. I have 117 retirees already in there. These are folks from the AG's office, folks from, agriculture, airport. I've already moved them from your agency to me as retirees. So that's why I said all I really need is an active list. That's it. And I can work everything, because Lieutenant Ray just showed me how to do police one. And so I just learned from him.
I learned from my administrators.
That's why I go to them to say, hey, how do I do this? But I'm sorry, sir. That's,
also Director, just for each and everyone's information, the inactive list, it's still, in the system for 3 years. Okay, they cannot, remove it until, they clear that 3 year stress up. And then they can actually, if I'm correct, they can then remove it from the system.
I forgot to add one more thing, and I think I gave you a copy of the proposed legislation on the parole services division.
yes.
Just to let you know, because the thing about it is, in that proposed legislation is the authorization for a parole reserve officer program, right? Under the parole services division. That would add, because you already have parole officers under post commission, that would add another, similar to how you already have Guam police reserve officers at the post commission. So heads up on that, because there's a senator, I won't mention his name because
Okay.
he's still taking a look at the proposal, and the front office are coordinating right now with the looking at the provisions of that, how that legislation would look like. And I think even Steve Guerrero, the chair of the parole board, Guam Parole Board, is looking at that too, especially especially that in the States, as I had pointed out, in the mainland, they don't say parole reserve officer, they have probation reserve officer, which is different, and that might catch the attention of the courts too. They're gonna have some similar kind of program, if the courts do something like that, when they see what happens with DOC in this initiative. But I just wanted to throw that out, that it's in the works right now, that discussion's going on.
Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements or discussions? Once, twice, okay. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for the 21st of June at 10:30. Subject to change, more than likely it will be held here. If not, everybody will be getting the information on updates. With that being said, I guess I don't need to make a motion for adjournment, if everybody's in agreement. Everybody's in agreement?
Sir.
Aye. So, it is now 11:41, and this concludes our post meeting for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I saw that you today.
You don't want to say one thing.